Hi everyone, welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Laura. Let me go ahead and read it. I can find it. Laura says, "Hi Dr. Amy, I have a fear of driving long distances and highway driving, especially in the left lane. I can only go short distances driving locally. How does thought and well-being play a role in this? I would really like to be free of this fear and have more freedom getting around, but I panic at the thought of it. Thanks, Laura." So Laura, I too had that fear at one point in my life, where it felt just like you're saying, where it's like, I can get myself to go short distances, go a little bit, maybe go on the highway a short distance in the right lane, hugging the shoulder. I don't know why our mind decides that's safer than the other side, but whatever it is, I remember feeling the same way. And it's interesting what you say. You say I can go short distances locally. I'd like to be free of this and have more freedom getting around, but I panic at the thought of it. So this may not be news to you, Laura, but I just want to toss it out. Do you see that this has nothing to do with driving? Like, you aren't afraid to drive because you drive locally, right? You can drive in the right lane. You can drive under certain conditions. You're fine driving. So somewhere in there, your mind makes driving long distances or driving in the left lane or whatever a totally different thing. But it isn't driving that you're afraid of. Now, again, this might be really obvious, but I just want you to kind of take this in and really start to sit with this and let it sink in for you. Like, let your own mind and your own thinking, your own identity start to sort of rearrange around this a little bit. You have no issue driving. You can get behind the wheel of a car and drive places. You have absolutely no fear of driving and no issue driving. What you're saying, Laura, you have a fear of is a feeling that there's a certain place where your mind decides, okay, this is no longer okay. And even that, it has nothing to do with driving. Even in that, the thing that is affecting you, that you don't like, is a feeling. Now, again, on one level, common sense, we all know this, right? And you know this too. But really look at that. This is one of those things that our mind tends to kind of just skim over. Or like, oh yeah, I have a lot of feelings around this thing. I get that it's my feelings. Okay, fine. But then we throw the feelings away. We don't look deeper. We keep it around what we think we're afraid of. So the whole question and all the details and everything is around driving, as if driving means something and has some significant role in this. It does not. Driving a car on the highway in the left lane even is kind of like the pawn. It's like the details. What's really going on, like it's correlated. It's in there, right? These thoughts and feelings come up more often than not when you're driving in the left lane, fine. But that's almost like an innocent bystander in a way. It's like every time I wear this necklace, I have a great day. Like, it's a superstition. The driving piece is not the causal part of this equation. So, and that's true for any of us listening, anything that we're caught up in. Look at that for yourself. Look at how it looks like our feelings and our fears and our worries and all of this are coming from a thing. And then, man, does it look like that. Totally looks like that. But try this on. Try this on for yourself and consider, like, maybe that's more of the superstitious piece. Maybe that's just more of a detail. Like, our mind wants to say, ooh, this is what's doing it. But that's not what's doing it. You can get in a car, Laura, and drive with no feelings. And you could get in a car and drive with all kinds of anxious feelings. You have no problem driving. You could drive through the feelings. What the issue is, like what's really kind of creating suffering for you is fear of the feeling that you're going to have, or that you think you're going to have, or that you've had in the past, or whatever. And again, for all of us, that's true for all of us. So what's a feeling? Are we really afraid of feelings No, obviously not, because we live in feelings. We have feelings all day, every day, our entire lives. Even a feeling of neutrality or boredom is a feeling. I mean, we swim in feelings. Like we can never avoid a feeling. And we do all kinds of things to seek out feelings. All kinds of nice things to try to give us these big, extreme, nice feelings. Sometimes we even seek out scared feelings. The feeling that you have maybe driving, you've watched movies and read books and all kinds of things that have given a similar feeling. Now, maybe different enough that your mind wants to put it in a different bucket, but think about that. Think about how often we go through life doing things to create a feeling for ourselves. Purposely, we want it. And then in other times, when it looks like it's coming from this other thing, it's a deal breaker. It's like we shut down and nope, driving does that to me, and that is not an okay feeling to have, and so I'm never going to do that again. And then we have no freedom, like you say. Our lives get very, very small, all because of a feeling that, again, that exact same feeling in another moment in time is wonderful. It's invited. We look for it. So it's really worth looking at this, and it's really, again, this is one of those things. Look at it beyond this short little question answer session, because in this short little question answer session, it's so easy for our minds to say, oh yeah, I see what she means. I get that. And then we just go on with our lives and we never really look at it like, what is a feeling really? My friend Gail Brenner talks about feelings in her book, Suffering is Optional. Great book. And I might be getting this wrong, so I don't mean to quote you, Gail, if I'm not getting it right. But basically, kind of talks about feelings as physical sensations, right? We have stuff going on. We feel stuff in our bodies. And then stories. And when I read that, it was a year ago this month, I remember reviewing her book for her. I had a million things on my plate, and it was right around the holidays, and like, oh, how am I going to do this? And I started reading her book and just loved it so much. Was so grateful that I got to review it. That just stuck with me so much. Like, again, what I got from it, I don't even know if that's how she says it, but we feel stuff, we feel sensations and a gripping or a tightening or an opening or a flood of energy. I mean, that's just the most neutral, human, normal stuff we can possibly imagine. Not good or bad or anything. It's just the feeling of being alive. But what gets us, where it goes into suffering sometimes, is the stories that our mind attaches. Oh no. This is scary. I'm going to die. What if I hit someone? What if I run off the road? Better not do this again. Better make my life really small to protect myself because I don't like this story that's going. Again, consider, Laura, it's not the feeling. I mean, I'm sure you get a big wave of energy and, panic is definitely a lot of energy going on. But it's the story. It's the way our mind comes in and tightens and says, this is wrong and shouldn't be happening. And whatever words we use or no words at all, however that looks, that's the basic message. And it's not accurate. Like what you're feeling is energy. It's a conditioned kind of meaning making thing that comes in and happens and then turns it into experience that then we go to great lengths to avoid in life. And then we lament the fact that we can't drive, So for all of us, again, just take it to the very basics and wonder, like, what are these feeling things that I'm so afraid of? That I do it. So much of what we do in life is to bring on or avoid a particular feeling. Why? Really? Is there anything there to be afraid of? Really? Really? It's energy, can't help but move. If I gave you all $20 million to stay stuck in a feeling for a day, you could not do it. Couldn't do it. So it's literally impossible, and we all know this, to stay for a feeling to stay, right? Now, it doesn't mean it doesn't feel like it does sometimes, and we experience it that way, but it's energy moving through us. It's the same stuff that we look for when we read a good book or watch a good movie. And then it's this little machine that comes in that tells stories about it. says, oh, this is bad, this might happen, that might happen. If we can kind of start to see it in that way and say, you know, I can feel energy, that's fine. Even energy that our mind wants to call panic, it's okay, you can feel that. Now, again, I'm not saying like sit there and feel it and sit through it. I'm not giving you strategies for it, but I want you on your own to really sit with this and look at it for yourself and see what you see about it. See what you can see, all of us. See what we can see about a feeling, and see if it doesn't start to look kind of funny, how we humans run around creating lives to avoid feelings, when on the other hand we go and seek out pretty much those same feelings with different stories attached. So see what that does for you, Laura. Again, like, this is a different kind of answer than maybe you were looking for, but you say, how does thought and well-being play a role in this? Well, thought is all of it. The whole thing is thought. The whole thing is created by thought. It's given you're having the experience that you're having because of the way that your thinking is going. And well-being plays a role because that's what you are. It's there all the time. The whole time you're driving, you are full of well-being. You just also happen to be really caught up in a scary story about the feelings that you're feeling and what they all mean. And the more we can see the story and that energy more for how it really is, you know, this inherently neutral, moving kind of thing that isn't us, that doesn't ever touch our well-being, that's where your freedom comes in. There's so much room for freedom around that. So thank you, Laura, for your question. Thanks, guys, for listening, and I will see you next Monday.